Hey, buddy. Oh, you got your bubble gun going. Well, howdy there again, folks. We're back with Boomer again today, and we're going to show you a few more of the riding exercises that we do with a green horse like this, and how we build on the tools we've already created. So, if he wants to walk around when I ask him to bend his nose, that's totally his prerogative. He won't get released until he stands still. So that's why it's good to just pick up the rein, place your hand right on your saddle, and don't take your hand off the saddle till he stops his feet and gets soft on your hand. I'm going to ask him to bend again. And you see my body language here is not telling him to move his hindquarters at all. I'm simply asking him to bend his nose. And so that's his decision if he wants to move his hindquarters. But he's going to find that we can't progress to the next step, and this is going to get kind of boring if he doesn't stop his feet. Wait until he stops trying to turn his head away. Gonna ask him to bend again. Don't push on me, horse. Don't push on me, horse. There you go. Bend him again. He wants to move his feet. That's his deal. Good. Ask him to bend again. There. Let a breath out. Got soft. Quit moving his feet. Pretty good. Just gonna put another notch in that cinch. Good. My breast color's all good. I like it. Okay. Bend his nose. There, he quit moving his feet a lot sooner. Bend his nose. There, he quit moving his feet a lot sooner. Here he wants to move his feet. I'm just going to put him back in that bind, that difficult position until there. There you could see he was leaning forward, thinking about moving his feet forward. And so I bent his nose, and he decided to move his feet sideways instead. There he stops. Doesn't move his feet. I'm going to put my foot up in the stirrup and just keep bouncing here until he quits moving. Then I'm going to get up, stand for a second. If he doesn't move his feet, I swing over, put my butt in the saddle. Right there. Bend his nose if he starts to walk off. Good. There, he's standing a little better. So let's see if I can bend his nose to the right without him moving his feet. That was a really nice bend. And I think he just moved his feet a little there for balance. Yeah. That's really soft. I mean, I'm just barely pinching this rein with my fingers. And he's bringing his head around really nicely. There he decides to walk off. Just bend his nose till he stops. There. Gonna see if he can bend to the left one more time. Oh, but he decides to move his feet. Bend to the left one more time. Decides to move his feet. Bend to the left one more time. There. Bend to the left as he's moving his feet. You can't move your feet to get your head out of that flexion. There. Bend his nose one more time. To the left. Very nice. Good. Okay. Now, can I bend his nose and ask him to disengage? There, that's finally a good disengage. Wait till he gets soft. Release. Can I bend his nose to the right? He doesn't move his feet. I'll bend his nose again, put my leg on. Let's see, a little more energy. There. Good. Take my leg off. Wait for him to come to a stop. Good. So if he knows something, there's no reason to drill that subject. We move on to the next item on the list. Once we have lateral flexion and disengaging, good. Then, that wasn't a very nice way he took his head away. There. Then we'll work on forward motion. Can he go forward at the walk with no hands on, no pressure on either rein? Not steering left, not steering right. I'm not picking up on both reins to stop. All I'm doing is if he gets worried like that, I'm going to bend his nose around until he brings his feet all the way to a stop. Let him out. Make sure we're not running away at the standstill. There, he tried to run away at the standstill. So we bend his nose till he comes to a stop, gets soft on our hand, and we release. Good. We're not running away at the standstill. Oh, spoke too soon. This horse has an interesting case of ADD. Oop, see right there. He almost did it perfect, and then he decided, oh, once I get released, I'm just going to go where I want to. Most likely over to my friend Jazz there, who's getting worked by Cricket. There we go. Can you bend this way? He wants to move his feet. He forgot the prime objective. So we'll just keep working with him here until he kind of figures out the program. Good. Because if we can't bend his nose without him moving his feet, then we can't build on anything else. That's the first cornerstone that we need. There. Good. So I'm going to walk him off now. And no surprise, he wants to go towards Jazz. I'm going to try and stay on a loose rein here as much as possible. And just make sure there, if he gets worried about anything, I'm going to bend his nose, this time to the outside till he comes to a stop. Make sure we can stand still. But I'm not going to wait here too long because he likes being next to that gate. That's where his friends are. So, good. Now we're kind of getting a walk. But you see, if you're walking on a loose rein here, you're not adulterating where the horse wants to go at all. You're seeing exactly his intention and his desires. So you can fix the problem if you allow them the freedom to show you the problem. Or not even a problem, just improve your communication. He obviously wants to be with Jazz. And he can walk on a loose rein. I'm not too worried about that. So if we want him to go to the other end of the arena, we'll start to make him work around his friend Jazz. I'm leaving my reins loose in one hand. There. He went to a new spot. I'm going to bend his nose. I'm going to bend his nose till he comes to a stop. And because I know I'm not going to keep his attention for very long, and the reason he's walking off is because he desires to be with his friend, I'm not going to school him on stopping his feet at this particular moment. I'm going to say, hey, when you're near your friend, it turns into more work. So I asked him to trot off, and no surprise, he went straight towards Jazz. So I just left my legs on till he went away, and then I take my legs off. Now he turns towards his friend, so I put my legs on, turns away, take my legs off. And we're just steering him with the gas pedal. There, if he gets a little bit worried, I'm just gonna bend his nose until I can, he doesn't like the dog. That's funny. So here, we've started working on steering, and I'm gonna continue to work on steering a little bit. And I'm gonna do this body balancing exercise. If he goes to the right, I'm gonna turn him to the left until I feel his shoulders go to the left. Good. And then if he I'll let him go. And if he goes all the way to the left, I'm gonna turn his shoulder till his shoulders go to the right. Now he's going to the right, I'm gonna turn him till his shoulders go to the left and his body curves. Good. And this is this is something we can do to just get him responding to both reins equally and steering when we pick up the inside rein and open it. So here I'm gonna turn him back one more time and try and stop him right here, facing where he doesn't want to be. And we'll just relax, let him rest. Wish I had a better angle on this particular spot. I'm probably not too much on camera, so we won't work on this too much right now. But basically, the body balancing exercise is if your horse wants to go left, you turn right. If he wants to go right, you turn left. I've also heard it called the left-right exercise. There we go. So if he moves his feet and I didn't ask him to, I'm just going to bend his nose till he stops his feet again. Now we're going to walk off. And so I pretty much have him at a walk and a trot, and I would canter him on a loose rein, but I just don't want to get him tangled up with the other horse in here. So instead, I'm going to start working on point to point like we did last time. There, he wants to turn his nose away from the point I picked. Good boy. That's pretty level. I'm just going to push that hip around to the right. Good. Up, 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 up. See, he got stiff on that. So I'm going to ask him to disengage. Get soft on my hand. There we go. Good. So I'll ask him to walk off. We'll turn. I'm going to ask him to trot towards the point I picked and steer his nose right towards it no matter what. There we go. Nope. There you go. There, if he wants to go turn this way, I'm going to just disengage him. Put my inside leg on. There, see, he wants to run his shoulder out. It's good that we're addressing that. Yep. So there, he stalled out on my leg. There, right there. Ask him to step again. There. Not so bad. Good. Yep. Took a breath there. Now he's taking a step back. So I'm just going to ask him to think forward. And if he heads towards Jazz, I'm going to ask him to trot. I'm just going to start steering his shoulders around. And we can get that pretty nicely now. So I'm going to pick this point on the wall, ride him straight towards it. There. So I can, now that he's kind of understands what I'm looking for with this fencing or riding point to point. Good boy, that was a nice disengage. Then, so I'm working on straightness with this. Working on straightness and precision of direction. I want to go to a specific point. I don't want to just go to a general area. If he wants to back up, that's perfectly fine with me. That'll be practice for later on in his training. So there he's just backing up, I think, because he felt my rein moving. I'm going to put his nose right back on that point, and I'm going to keep my legs on until he quits backing up, because my legs don't mean back up. I'm going to put my legs on until he quits backing up. That's okay. There. Things get quiet that way. And you just have to, I'm going to balance his hip back out. Good. Just think about that, dude. See, I like these. Yes. You see his wheels are turning here? I like this kind of a puzzle. If he's having difficulty just thinking about this point, then this is a good thing to work on. The thing you get frustrated by as a student is the thing you need to work on. There, if he backs away from my leg, there he tries to turn his nose away from where I'm steering. And I'm just being passive and persistent. There we go. Good. So now we're going to start putting this turning together with riding to a point. So I'm going to ride to the point on the wall, and we're going to do this 4-leaf clover exercise with him again. Good. And we're going to ride around the quarter circle, and then down the center of the arena, and then to the right, around this quarter circle. And you see how he's just trying to bend his body parts all over, not really softly and specifically going where I'm asking, not keeping the same pace. That's the stuff we're ironing out with this exercise. If we're not focusing on all the big end of the road stuff and all of the cues, we can focus on making the basic cues work really well. Like turn right, go straight, turn right, go straight. Here, turn right, curve right, turn right, move straight. Hey, turn right, curve right, turn right. And he's doing real well on this, so I'm going to pick this point on the wall. We're going to ride straight towards it, legs off, hands off, and he stops. So we let him rest. He wants to back up, that's his thing, but he can't walk away. So I just put his nose back on that point, let him hang out for a minute. He turns away from it. This kind of a puzzle is real good for a horse who doesn't really want to do exactly what you want him to do. He'll do most of it, but he won't do the exact thing you want him to do. So this is where being particular with a horse like this is really good. Good, so I worked him to the right. I'm going to pick up on this left rein. We're going to work up into a trot, and I'm going to go left, and then straight across the center. And we're going to curve left, good, for a quarter circle. And we're going to curve left, good, and we'll go straight. And we'll curve left around this corner and ride a quarter circle, and we'll curve left and go straight across the center. We'll curve left and ride to the wall. We'll curve left, ride across the center. Good. You see him stretching down, starting to get elastic, because he's not focusing on everything. He's finding the one thing I want him to focus on. You hear him let his breath out there and start to run. Now he's starting to go to the left before I ask him to. That's okay right now. I want him to get this pattern in his mind. This pattern isn't created by doing the shape perfectly the first time. This pattern is created by asking for the same thing every time, and you know when you're finished when every curve is perfect, because you've made every turn perfect. So, good. And I like his there, you see that? Elastic. And I release with my hands when he does that. I don't want to impede his stretch at all. if you get in the way of their stretch, that's why you have jumping horses that stick their heads way up in the air like that. But if you let that stretch go, that's why you have reining horses that are gonna roll the dirt with their nose. Here he's starting to go left before me, so I'm just gonna start going either direction now, balancing his body. I'm gonna curve right, go across the center. He wants to go to the left, so I'm gonna curve right again. Good. Now I'm gonna come to this wall, curve right and go across the center, pick my point, and he wants to go to the right, so I'm gonna curve left. It's no surprise that every time he wants to go towards his buddy. Here he wants to go left, so we're gonna steer right. So we're gonna go right and across the center. Good boy. Gonna steer left. If you don't, like I was saying with those reining horses, if you don't impede, or any horse, but reining horses you see it on, if you don't impede that elastic stretch down, then they're gonna hang their head down there once they're relaxed. Up, 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 up. See, his shoulder wanted to fall in on that last one. So I'm gonna go left again, left, there we go. That time, now he wants to go left, so I'm gonna go right. Good boy. Gonna come across the center. Gonna go left. Gonna come across the center. And I'm gonna let him rest if he can ride specifically to the point I've picked. Up, 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 there we go. And stop his feet. Or he stops his own feet. I just make sure his nose goes to that point. If his nose is on the point on the wall, he can't very well trot further forward, so there's no reason to use up your cue for stop. Good boy. There's the 4-leaf clover, and we did the fencing with him. We've done body balancing. The next few things, probably the next time I work with him, I'm going to get him up into the canter, and we're going to start working on the 4-leaf clover, fencing, and follow the fence at the canter to just work on some straightness and engagement with him. But otherwise, with him, I think I'm pretty much done today. It's just these short lessons where you pretty much agree on everything. You don't want a big disagreement when you're working with young horses. You want to pretty much agree on everything. So you're never asking them to do something that you know they're not capable of doing. I know he can turn his head to the right, and I know he can turn his head to the left, so I can be pretty dogmatic about asking for those. But I don't know that he can back up off of both reins yet. I don't know that he can move sideways off either leg. And I'm not going to try until I've laid the groundwork and gotten the successful beginning steps. I'm not going to try to ask him to go sideways until I can get a really good backup, a really good disengage, and get him moving sideways off the wall from a trot. Otherwise, you're wearing out your backup, you're wearing out your legs, your disengaging legs, your backwards legs, your behind the girth legs, and you're wearing out your horse's mind and trying the relationship. So anyway, just my thoughts on a couple of those things. Boomer, you did good today. You see he's getting better every day, less airheaded every day. He's responding and thinking. Except for right there. There you go. Good. Send the shoulders through. Send the hips around. Yep. That's nice. Send the shoulders out again because he was trying to block. Good. Hips. I'm going to move the shoulders. There. Hips. Good. So we still will have all our groundwork working with him too. If I back up, can I draw him in and keep the slack in this lead rope here? Pretty nice. That's all for Boomer today. Doesn't look like much, but we keep building.